Welcome to Film Feast.
We're two sister grill masters, watch a movie, yap about it, and then make two recipes inspired by it. In this episode, we're talking all about the 1990 classic Home Alone, the original.
Is there any other than the two originals?
Okay, the two.
The two originals?
The second one is just as good in my opinion.
Don't even look at me about the third one. Or never mind, like the eighth one.
There's like 23 Home Alones.
No. Also, I wore this plaid inspired by the movie.
This is my holiday version. It's kind of holiday.
There's not
too much on the nose here.
There's leaves. There's nuts. It's giving
woodland. Stop saying that.
It's giving woodland creature. I like it. You live under a rock. I don't know who you are. I don't know where you are. But if you haven't seen Home Alone, the movie is about a young boy who is left home alone. He's meant to figure out his way at Christmas time. These two burglars end up figuring out that he's home alone in that house. They want to get in because his family's loaded. I personally think that movie has gotten so popular only because of the decor alone.
Okay, they did nail the decor.
That's what I'm thinking. I have a fantastic recipe inspired by this movie and my favorite scene in particular.
Mine's not by my favorite scene, but mine is based on one of the most famous scenes.
I am so interested.
Actually, what is not a famous scene of Home Alone? There's so many.
Exactly. I'm so excited to see what you made because I feel like this movie could be taken in a million directions. Mm-hmm. So it was hard to commit to one. Okay, so one of my favorite scenes, and not surprising to anybody, is one of the food scenes when they're talking about food in this movie.
Oh, no.
Is when the brother eats his cheese pizza.
No!
What?
Are you kidding me?
And he's like, is there any pizza left? And the brother's like, I'm going to have to barf it up, get a plate.
Buddy, that's literally mine. Did you make a cheese pizza?
No, I made okay, so Little Nero's cheese pizza. I made a Little Nero's cheese ball.
Okay. Whew.
Okay.
We saved it. We saved it because I went right ahead and made the cheese pizza.
Okay, so I was
for Kevin McAllister because that scene almost brings a tear to my eye every single time. I'm like, look at the poor little guy.
Like, all he wants is his cheese pizza.
And his disgusting brother's like, let me barf it up for you. I'm like, Buzz, suck brick. We still say that to this day.
You phlegmwad. Okay, so
nothing beats a 1990s burn.
Phlegmwad.
Phlegmwad, we gotta bring that back.
We should bring it back. Okay, so I made what I'm calling a Little Nero's cheese pizza ball.
Okay, fine.
It's vegan. It's going to be spectacular. You're going to want to make it for your holiday party this year.
Okay, that looks spectacular already.
Does that not look so good?
It looks amazing.
It's got all the flavors of a cheese pizza, but in a ball, so you can take it to holiday parties. What's cool about this recipe is it can be served as a dip, as a hot dip. We're starting with
it's hot.
It's a warm dip.
Yes, and yes, man.
We're starting with some cashews, and then we're going to add in this butter flavored coconut oil, which is one of my favorite ingredients for giving you that buttery, delicious flavor. So nutritional yeast is going to give us that savory, cheesy vibe. You got to have some fresh garlic. Now, herbs for a pizza. You want it to taste like a pizza, you got your standard herbs. Your oregano, your basil, a little bit of dried parsley. Don't hate on me for the dried parsley.
Dried parsley, that's weird because I also did a dried parsley on mine. There's going to be a lot of the same flavors here, But dried parsley to me is just for look.
Yes.
It's not adding any flavor component whatsoever. It's just adding a nice pizza look.
Yes. And since this is vegan, in order to get that delicious cheesy vibe that you're not going to get from cheese, I like to add both miso and mustard.
Ooh,
because that's going to give us some tang and some umami. So you'll notice right now you need water to get this to blend up in a high-speed blender. Otherwise it's going to be too thick. So just add a splash. You can always add more later. So right now it is looking a little bit runny, because this is where you're going to serve, where you can serve it as a dip.
To me, this doesn't look runny. This looks like perfect dip component. The crackers ain't going to be breaking off in there. You're just going to get in there, enjoy it. But if it hardens up and becomes the cheese ball consistency too, I'm there for that as well.
Me too. I love them both.
Yes.
So we've got some pepperoncini peppers going in chopped.
Why?
That's what I like on a pizza.
That's not a cheese pizza, pal.
I know, but it's a cheese ball. So to me, I needed to make this taste like pizza. Sun-dried tomatoes, green onions, frozen basil, because I didn't have fresh. I prefer fresh, but I had those little poppable
oh, that's a good idea.
Basil things.
Are those good? I've never actually used those.
They're all right.
All right. I don't trust those. Yeah, I don't trust those.
Now, I've sampled this along the way for you so you can get a vibe of how this is. It's absolutely spectacular like this.
A lot of sampling.
But you can leave it here, but because this is vegan, we want to make sure that we're adding flavor to every single level. We are going to smoke it.
Ooh, okay.
We're going there. So this
You
is
got to
what
add a lot of flavor when it comes to vegan.
and
You do.
smoke flavor is like that je ne sais quoi that we
Mhm.
always say. So I just want to spoon it out onto like the tray that comes with the Ninja outdoor oven. And I'm going to keep it in a bit of a mound because I don't want the smoke. I don't want too much smoke. If you spread it out, it might be too smoky because the smoke's going to hit the entire surface area.
I like your logic there.
So I left it as a mound so it only gets smoke on the outside. Now this thing gets quite smoky. Very, very smoky. So you don't want to leave it in there for too long.
Are you not doing it in the ball shape there?
No, because it's got to cool in order to be a ball shape.
Okay, yes, true.
So
I get your logic.
This is where we're going into the hot dip.
What would you say is your favorite scene?
My favorite scene is any of the time that he's making food for himself. Like when he's waiting for the burglars to come to the house and he makes that little microwave mac and cheese dinner and his glass of milk.
I was going to go mac and cheese.
Of those scenes because you're like, it's so highly unbelievable that this tiny child would make himself like, okay, I get it. It's a microwave dinner. But what kid is going to
do that? He's Kevin McAllister. He can do anything.
He's going to be eating chips and candy and going to bed. Any real kid would do that. Now, did you know there's another Culkin in the movie?
Yes, I do.
His brother.
Fuller, the little pea pants Fuller. Fuller also is in Succession. So that guy grew up to be an actor in his own right. He's in Succession, like to me, one of the breakout characters of that show, and he's a scene stealer.
Yeah, he's great in Home Alone too.
Yeah,
he's not getting enough attention.
Okay, buddy. Wow.
Smoky, absolutely smoky, spectacular. So this is where, if you're serving this as a hot dip, it's nice and warm. It's like that viral dip with cream cheese that went viral a few years ago. It's very similar to that. You spoon it into a bowl. We're going to top it with some chilies, and that's where the dried parsley comes in. Have it as a hot dip just like this, and it tastes very similar to a pizza. Like I would just
go straight up like that. Why are you wasting time with the ball format?
This is where I stopped, but
that's also pizza.
Yes.
With the dried chili flakes.
Exactly.
Yes.
If you had chili oil, that would even be better. I didn't have any. But I did want to do double duty on this recipe for all my vegans out there. If you're looking for a holiday recipe, let it firm up the next day. Like give it the whole overnight, and then it is firm enough to do a cheese ball. I've done both.
It's cool to have options here, but I would say I would leave it at that. I like the consistency that it looks like there. I like that it's warm, and I like that it's straight out of the grill. I ain't waiting for that to cool and then making the ball form. I'm just eating it as is.
But it is quite a large recipe, so if you wanted to, do half as a dip and half as a ball. Do a slightly smaller ball.
That's a good idea.
Keeping on the topic of the movie, did you know that for the third one, me and you love to hate on why the third one didn't have any of the original people in it?
The third, the fourth, the fifth, the 10th.
So yeah, apparently by the third one, it was offered to Macaulay Culkin, and he was in retirement at that point.
Aww.
So he said no.
That little guy, Lord knows what that guy's gone through.
Yeah. So they were forced to bring it to a whole new cast at that point.
Okay, they were forced to wreck it then. They should have just left it as is. To me, Harry and Marv are my faves. They are my absolute faves. They look like cartoon characters. How one is super tall and skinny, the other one is short and stout.
And angry.
Yes, like Macaulay Culkin, and those two make the movie.
Did you know that Marv got hurt? Marv actually got hurt multiple times.
Is it where he crunches on the? Is it?
Yes.
Because I can't handle that scene when he crunches on the broken ornaments in the window. I literally can't handle that scene.
So that is the scene that he got hurt the most in. It was getting in and out of that window. Apparently, he kept hitting his legs on that, like swinging them around, and he said his legs were black and blue by the time they finished shooting that.
Of all the things, though, like that guy had all the stunts that he had to do.
And that tarantula that was on him was real and poisonous.
That's my scariest scene. So we already guessed what I made. We got a classic straight up cheese pizza, but I was actually excited to make this because I actually never have had a straight up cheese pizza. That's not something that I would go to. But as a kid, watching that scene where he wants the cheese pizza, I always was like, why does he want that? Like, what's so good about just like a straight up cheese pizza? So I was excited to embark on this.
Yeah, you and I have never been the type of kid that wanted like boring stuff. Like we weren't nugget and cheese pizza type of people.
Definitely.
So I agree. I've never had a cheese pizza. It seems boring.
I know, and that's why I was like intrigued by it. But this is our dough recipe. We've made it a number of times on our show. And because it's a tried and true recipe, it's so simple, it's so easy. I don't know why people got the feeling that dough was hard.
I know.
Like, it's not. It's so easy. I always say you could make it quicker and have it even risen quicker than actually going to the store, getting one of those frozen ones, letting that thaw. Like, no.
And what I like about doing anything homemade is the number one reason, you can control what's in it.
Exactly. So for instance, this recipe, you can use sugar for the yeast, but I like to use a good quality honey, and it makes all the difference.
Yes, and the store-bought one is all sugar.
Exactly.
It's like so much sugar's in there.
Okay, and like there's nothing like making your own dough. Like, it's so satisfying, especially in like the winter time, which like to me this has like a cozy vibe, like this pizza. So made my own dough. And then I was like, this is like so easy from there. You just add your sauce, you add your cheeses. I went with a 3 cheese because I was like, if you're going to do a cheese pizza, I don't think you can go just straight up Mott's.
You went an adult cheese pizza,
well,
which sounds dirty.
It does. It does. I don't know why that.
That sounds like a sex move. The adult cheese pizza.
Like in a book of like Kama Sutra. Like, that's like,
I don't know what it would look like.
Is that what it's called? I don't even know if that's what it's called. Is it Karma Sutra?
No, we don't own that.
Okay.
But you have to. I'm sorry. I'm guessing he had like a standard Mott's on there. That is not good.
No, I thought that was like, that would be bland. So I went with I know, look at how easy that is.
It's puffy. It's spectacular.
Then I don't know why people think you're going to be tossing it in the air. People are afraid they're going to drop it. That's why people think dough is like so hard. No. Put it on your pan. I like to do a tinfoil parchment layer.
Me too. I love the way you do crust.
Yeah, it's like so easy. It's the cleanup is easy. It doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan. You don't have to wash the pan because it's
no,
like
but I mean how you're pointing it out like that.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So you start with that base, then you just get your hands, and then you start working its way out. And because it's so soft and supple, it doesn't bounce back. It does not spring back. You just like use your hands. I made mine on the grill because we make everything on the grill. And if you're wondering, well, how does it not like burn on the bottom? We've talked about this a number of times. This is what is known as the mom method. So you turn on a 3-burner grill. You turn on the 2 side burners, hit them at medium. That makes your grill around 400 degrees, perfect temp for cooking pizza. And then you just put it on the middle, and then it doesn't burn.
That cheese took my breath away.
Okay, so technically this is 2 cheese, if you want to get technical, but one of them is one of the cheeses is a shredded Mott's. So like the store shredded Mott's, that one that has like that weird like flour texture that, I'm sorry, it does melt quite nice.
That like anti-caking texture.
Like that like floury like weird substance. Then I went with the fresh Mott's because that also has ultra melting capabilities.
Yes.
And then I also went with a feta, low on the flavor, but you don't really think feta for a pizza.
I would never say feta is low on flavor. It's salty.
It's just salty. Exactly. That's why I wanted to add it on there. And like I went with the parsley, obviously.
We've been on a dry parsley kick.
Now, as soon as you said oregano, I was like, darn it, I forgot to do oregano, and that's like the pizza spice.
See, to me, you can make anything taste like pizza if you add oregano.
I know, I don't know what I was thinking.
But see, I've had to learn these secrets as a vegan because I have to trick different dishes into tasting like, you'd be surprised at how much dishes taste like certain things that are not the meat or the dairy.
Mm-hmm. I know, it's so true.
It's the oregano when it comes to pizza.
Okay, so then you just throw that in the middle of the grill. That's how it doesn't burn along the bottom, and it only took 24 minutes. Oh. But what I did was 12 minutes, turned it 12 minutes because I didn't want it to burn on either side, and it got such a nice, crispy, golden brown crust. Look at that melting.
Now, you know what? One of my favorite parts of the second movie is when he is getting into the limousine, and that guy is like, and the pizza, he lifts the lid, and then the pizza's like,
want it.
That makes me want that so bad. Did this pizza satisfy all those cravings?
It totally did. Okay, so there's a reason why Kevin McAllister likes a cheese pizza, because it's something so simple, but something so delectable.
Really?
I went a little bit more hot and heavy than I normally would with the sauce. Okay?
That's all there is?
Yes, because I was like, if we're only talking cheese pizza here, there's only cheese and sauce. So I went a little bit more heavy on the sauce, and it made it so juicy and so gushy and so comforting.
I could see that. Because I was like, why else is focaccia spectacular? Like,
exactly.
Focaccia there's nothing to it, but I could eat an entire pan.
Okay, come on. Come on. Do you think Kevin McAllister would approve of that?
Oh, honey. 100%. Now his young, childish, prepubescent palate may think this is a bit too much.
Why? Because of the feta? I think kids like feta.
Do they? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what kids like.
This looks spectacular, honey.
Now, I think that the fam would rush to be eating this one too, just like they ate all of his cheese pizza, because if I do say so myself, this was absolutely spectacular.
It looks beautiful. Now, I have a very interesting fact for you about the movie. Did you know that, as the rumor has it, Elvis Presley is said to be spotted in the movie?
What?
Now, okay, go back and look at the scene where the mom is at the Scranton airport.
Mm-hmm.
And directly behind her, there's a guy that looks exactly like Elvis.
But like Elvis dressed up, or like Elvis in disguise,
like he's not,
as if like, you know how people say like Elvis
yes.
walks today, he lives amongst us and like planned his own death.
Yes, he just looks like a regular guy dressed up with like a scarf and a coat on, but it does look like Elvis. I went back and looked. And I was like,
so going back and looking.
Yeah,
interesting tidbit, buddy.
Yeah. In my opinion, it is not Christmas until I have watched Home Alone.
Mm-hmm. They nail it. Every single scene looks Christmassy. They actually designed that way to look like that. So the house doesn't, the wallpaper, the carpet, the bedspread, everything is made to look Christmassy. Every single scene paints that vibe for you that it's Christmas. So no wonder, even though the plot does not sound Christmassy, like a kid gets attacked by 2 burglars, instantly doesn't sound Christmassy, but because the look of it, the vibe of it, the music of it all has that Christmas vibe. That's why it's a Christmas classic.
1 and 2.
Mm-hmm. 1 and 2 equally. That's like very rare in the world of cinema, where the sequel is just as good as the first, and they nailed it.
Okay, last little tidbit.
No, I have one too.
Oh, do you? Okay,
It ain't last yet, buddy.
Second last little tidbit. Macaulay Culkin did not do his stunts.
So the part where he's instantly, you can tell when he's on that zip line.
Yes.
That one is so obviously
I'm like,
not
the person's
him.
40.
40 and like 6'2". I'm like, get a smaller person here.
Just because they're wearing the same scarf does not make it Macaulay Culkin.
No. Apparently, they didn't have the budget to make snow for the movie. Okay, so we all know those Hallmark movies, a lot of Christmas movies in general, they have that fake snow that basically just looks like white felt on top of grass. Some movies nail it, some movies don't. It costs a lot to make every single element in a scene look snowy. So they didn't have that in the budget. However, there was an actual real blizzard that took place during shooting. So they hustled and got all the cast out there to shoot that scene, that hugely blizzardy scene.
Cool.
I know. Is that not so crazy?
That is so crazy.
So that just worked out. Free snow.
Oh my goodness. Absolutely love this movie. If you have yet to see Home Alone or Home Alone 2, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm. To me, it ain't Christmas until I watch it at least twice. I watch it as I put up the Christmas tree. I watch it as I'm cooking. I have it on in the background, both 1 and 2. You got to watch it around Christmas time.
Okay, so if you have a Christmas movie that you want us to do Film Feast on, please let us know in the comments below.
Elf. Scrooged.
National Lampoon's Vacation.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to pretend people are putting that out there because I want those ones.
Someone comment that. I would love to do that one. Clark Griswold. That was
Buddy the Elf.
Yeah, that's another classic.
I'm obsessed with that one.
Yeah.
Who isn't obsessed with that one? Will Ferrell at his absolute finest.
Yes. Although, what is that Christmas movie where that kid's like licking that pole?
I think it's called. Is that one called like A Christmas Story or something?
That
one with the leg.
One. Yes.
With that leg. That one never hit our radar.
No, I did not like
that one. To me has like even just looking at like clips of it looks like a depressing scene.
Yeah, I don't like it.
A depressing vibe for me.
Yep, I don't like it. Please don't choose that.
Yep, don't choose that one because we ain't gonna do it.